life is beautiful. I live by these words. These words guide my path and how I go about life, and I'm here to see if I can convince you to believe in them as well. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob, and I'm a proud and honored member of the Alumni of the amazing Oi2 Scholarship Program. I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. So when I spoke to Rick and I asked him what should I speak about, he said, Jacob, we would love for you to share the story and your experience about it too, and your story about life. And I said, and he gave me this advice, and he said, Jacob, really all I want from you to do is to speak from your heart. So I'm gonna speak from my heart. I looked into my heart, and I realized there's a few parts of my life that I would love to share with you from my story, in the hope that it's gonna help you live in a better and a happier way. So, like I said before, my name is Jacob. I was born and raised in Israel to an Orthodox Jewish community. If you don't know, so the Orthodox Jewish life is a very strict way of living. So it's very similar to the Amish, like no education, no TV, no computers, very isolated, very separate. When I say no education, it simply means that from the age of 12 and more, all I studied was the Torah and the Talmud, which are commentaries on the Bible. But no regular standard high school education, like no math, no language arts, nothing of the sort. When I got to the age of 20, I realized I wanted to change my life. And so I left my family, I left my friends, I left my country, I left the religious way, and I started a new life. I relocated to the United States of America. It was February 1st, 2011. I landed here, and I got a job that actually got me traveling between a few different states. So I lived in Indiana for a while, I lived in Ohio, then I lived in Florida for about a year and a half. And a year and a half after that, I found myself on a plane towards New York City. I remember the day I landed in New York. It was a hot and sunny day at the end of July. All I had was $700 in my pocket and two big blue suitcases that carried all my belongings. My friend came to pick me up from the airport. It was the same friend who told me that I should come to New York because he said I have a job here and a place to stay. But what happened is, very quickly I found out after a week that the job was not an option. It was just driving 2 hours away from New York. I didn't have a car. And a week after that, the room that we stayed in was rented out to someone. So I ended up being stuck in a place that I was able to stay there only from 12 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't have a job, so I was basically wandering around all day in Central Park. I was basically homeless for about 30 days or so until I found a place to stay in. But I still didn't have a job. And for about a period of 4 months or so, I started with $700, and very slowly and quickly, not slowly, but quickly, money, in New York City when you live and there's expenses. And, so from time to time I got a job, like a one-day job sort of thing that helped me survive for another week or 2 weeks. But I remember after 4 months, I suddenly look at my bank account and I see I had only $70 left. And I simply decided not to spend any money on food, and I didn't eat for 2 days. I just drank water from the sink. It was a very dark and difficult time in my life. I hated myself. I felt worthless. I felt alone. I felt like nothing is worth it. And the only thing that kept me from killing myself, was the fear that if I do, I'm going to be punished in hell. I basically hit rock bottom. But the thing is, when you hit rock bottom, the only place to move is upward and forward. So that's what happened. I eventually found a job. I got a stable job. I started working. I slowly increased my work hours, so I ended up working 60, 70, even 80 hours a week, so I was able to put some money aside. And then slowly I created myself a firm base of an independent life. Now, after a year and a half after that, I decided I wanted to take my life a step further, and for me it was to go to college. Now, since I grew up with no education, I had to go get my GED, high school equivalency diploma. So I went to a program that was by the government for 3 months or so, and I got my GED. I passed the first test, thank God. And then I went to school. Now there's two aspects of my life that I want to share with you. There's the academic aspect of my life, and there's the personal aspect of my life. So the academic aspect of my life, what happened then is I started BMCC in 2016. And now I was working full-time, and I also became a full-time student. So for, so the first semester I took 4 classes, the second semester I took 5 classes, and it's during the second semester, I was at work, and my phone is ringing. It was my birthday, August 18, 2016. My phone is ringing. I pick up the phone, and they say, hi, we would like to interview you for the Oi2 Scholarship Program. I was the happiest person ever, it's like the best birthday gift I could ask for, because, I went to school full-time so I could pay for school, and then suddenly I get like financial help and everything. I just thought it's the money, I didn't even think of anything else, and, wow, what a wonderful gift, So I went to the interview. I sat with Jonathan and Daria, and they asked me a couple of questions, and I have been accepted. Thank God. Thank you also. I appreciate it. And I remember, I think it was the word is orientation, the first ceremony when they had for all the scholars who came to the Oi2. So they had the ceremony, and I sat in the ceremony, and I was listening to what everyone has to say about Oi2 and what Oi2 is all about. And I sat there, and I had tears going down my face, because it's the first time since I left everything, I started a new life on my own, dealing with all that I went through. It's the first time that I felt finally that I belong. It's a place that I have, people that care about me, that like giving me a back. They're gonna be there for me through difficult times. And I really, they say home is not a place, home is a people. So it's the first time that I felt some sort of feeling like I belong and I'm not alone. Oi2 is amazing, like just for me, like the first thing that if I ever talk about Oi2 and whenever I do, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is Jonathan, Rick. I don't see Daria here, but I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful for you. You're a huge blessing in my life, and I'm sure to many, many other people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep it. I really appreciate it. But Oi2, Oi2 gave me a lot of things. My whole experience in Oi2. It's not just the social activities that we get to spend some time. If it's painting together, bonding with other successful students, like-minded people, getting the support that we need, the academic advisement, the volunteering that we get to serve the community a little bit, not a little bit, a lot. Really wonderful experiences. Of course, I didn't mention the workshops that really give you an idea about how life is all about and prepare you to be better and grow more. And of course, I mentioned the money, which definitely helped me a lot because it helped me pay my tuition because I was working full-time in order to go to school. But the one thing that the one major thing that I got from Oi2, and I think all of you got it, is just like Oi2 gave me standards. Just like the name of Oi2, it means out in 2. So you have 2 years to get your degree. It's a certain standard to put on people, because a lot of people can take their time and whatever it is, but setting the standard, I accepted this standard upon myself, this challenge as much as many of you did. For me, it was difficult. I was working full time, like really working more than 40 hours a week, and I was to do this in 2 years meant that I had to push to the limits. And I took the challenge by myself, I accepted it, and I worked. I remember for a period of about a year and a half, my average sleep hours on a work day was 3 or 4 hours. But I made it happen. And after 2 years, I graduated, 2018, I graduated with my associate's degree in psychology, and I even managed to do it with a 4.0 GPA. So that's the academic aspect of my life. The personal aspect of my life, of what I went through during this time is, going through what I went through from not having anything, from basically being homeless, being alone, not having anything, made me realize and made me actually become this person who appreciates everything that he has. I can appreciate the fact that there's delicious food over here, beautiful people to smile at, to look, having conversations with people, having a roof over my head, having a job, being able to go to school. It made me see everything that I have and focus on the positive in my life. And I really became this happy and positive person. And I developed this became, I figured out that this is my passion, is to share my happiness and positivity with as many people as possible. Working? So my way of going about spreading happiness and positivity, I started looking around, because I remember asking people, like, when I found out that when I asked people the simple question of how are you doing, the typical response that I get from people was, oh, don't ask, I'm going through this challenge, or my boss was upset today at work, or this is not working for me, I want to go over there, I want to get that, and it's not working, And I realized that, because I became this happy and positive, I realized, maybe I was like this in the past as well, but for me, I made a change. Like, whenever anyone asks me, how are you? My answer is, life is beautiful. And I really mean it, because I get to look at what I do have instead of what I don't have. I get to look at the half cup full instead of the half cup empty, at the positive instead of the negative, and I gain so much from it. During saying that this became my passion, I also opened a group on Facebook. I call it Life is Beautiful, and I use it as a platform to share happiness and positivity in the world. You guys can find me later if you're looking for it. So I'm sharing all this with you because I want you to take two main points out of my full story that I just gave you. The first point is, going through what I went through the difficulties that I went through, it made me, looking back, made me realize that just because I went through the difficult time, that's what made me the person who I am today. So in retrospect, the difficult time in my life was actually a blessing. Looking back, I would never change a thing of what I went through, because that will make me who I am today. So I know, I have no doubt in my mind that each and every person in this room, each and every one, either went through, is going through, or will go through a difficult time in your life. And it gets difficult, it really gets difficult, I promise you. I wanted to kill myself. It gets difficult, and it does. So I want you to know this. Know that it's going to pass. It doesn't stay. Difficult times do not last. It's going to change, it's going to pass. You're going to get over it, I promise you. And I also want you to know that when that happens, when you get through it, all I want you to do is to look back and intentionally look for the part of the part of the difficulty that you went through, and see exactly how that specific part made you to be who you are today. I met this person that said that he's grateful that his parents got a divorce when he was young, because he became this independent person because of it. It's obviously it's difficult, but when you look at it, you'll be able to find the beauty in it. It's a blessing. It happens for us, not to us. The second part I want you to take from this is being this advocate of happiness and positivity. One of my favorite ways to do it is through random acts of kindness. So if it's helping an old lady with her bags down the subway stairs, if it's holding the door for another person, if it's giving a compliment, if it's smiling at someone, I look for it everywhere and I find it everywhere. It's very easy. But what I realized is that it's not just me making this world a happier place. I'm the one who gains from it the most, because every time I make someone else smile, it feels amazing. So there's actually a scientific study behind this. In 2004, they had undergraduate students. They performed 5 kind acts weekly for 6 weeks in a row, but they did it only in one day of the week. So, for example, each Tuesday, for 6 weeks in a row, they did each Tuesday 5 acts of kindness. And they reported a significant increase in their well-being in comparison to the control group who didn't. So there's actually scientific proof that if you do random acts of kindness, for anyone, for anything, not just for random people, even for the people close to you who you love, if you go and wash the dishes when nobody's watching, there's so many ways to do acts of kindness. I promise you'll find it everywhere. If you go looking for it, you'll find it everywhere, and I promise you more than that, you're gonna benefit from it more than anyone else. So I'm sharing this because I want you to join me on my quest of making this world a happier place, and we'll make it happen. We are making it happen already. And this is it. I want to thank you all for listening to me, and for taking your time and for your smiles, and I feel the love from you guys, and I love you all back, each and every one of you. I love people. People are awesome. I'm going to finish this by saying my 3 most favorite words. Life is beautiful!